This is Joshua Farnsworth. Welcome to my traditional woodworking school. In this video, Bill Anderson will show you how to make a new or replacement handle for an antique style hand plane. You'll learn how to cut out the profile for your handle and also how to lay out the curves and shape the curves with a rasp.
So we're going to lay out the handle from a template here. The handle stock is generally 7/8 of an inch thick, 15/16 or so. I think you can get by with 3/4 inch stock. This particular stock varies between rift sawn and close to quarter sawn, which would be ideal. The other thing to think about is the direction of grain across the face of the work. There's one area where the grain is going to be short in the handle, and that's on the horn right here. So I want to make sure that the grain more or less follows through on the horn right there. So those are the criteria there. So I'm gonna hold this. You'll see that the handle has the handle part and then a tenon part that fits down in the mortise in the top of the plane body. And part of this tenon is going to be cut out so that the handle actually hangs over the mortise a little bit, and that's just to make it easier to fit the handle down in there so you can adjust it forward and back and get it just right. So it makes steadying the handle a little bit easier. You also notice the handle is defined by 3 holes here, and so we're going to mark those holes, and we have bit size to those holes right there, and so we'll drill those out, and then we'll coping saw out the waste here and there to find the handle, and then we'll saw out the profile later. So let me just go ahead and mark this out. So I'll mark out the bottom of the tenon here, the front all the way around, like so. I have the handle dimensions for this original size and also for a larger size that would fit more modern hands. Those are both on the resource section of the DVD manual. So they're available for printing out. We'll go ahead and mark these 3 holes here with a awl. And then I'll mark those with a little X right here so I know exactly where I'm drilling. And then at that point, we're ready to drill these holes, cut the profile, coping saw out the waste, and the handle will be rough shaped. So I'm going to drill these holes in the handle here. I'm using a type of bit called a center bit. The modern equivalent to a center bit is a spade bit. They're widely available now. Center bits were made in the millions, and you can easily find them. The nice thing about a center bit is that they'll drill really sharp edged holes because they have a spur that scores the outside perimeter of the hole, and then they have the scoop right here which cleans out the waste in between inside the scored mark. So they're and it's easy to tweak these 2 edges here to adjust the diameter of the hole to something you might exactly want, and I've done that with these 3 bits here to get them to match what I want. They're easy to sharpen. You just sharpen the inside of the spur here, or you sharpen the flat part of the ramp right here with the auger file. An auger file has a safe edge and it has a cutting edge. Here's the cutting edge on the edge here, and the other end has a file on one side and it's safe on the other side. So you can cut up into an area here without worrying about scratching this part right here. So they're very useful. And we're going to use a brace here. This is a Spofford brace, but any sort of brace that you can find which will hold auger bits with these this sort of shape shank there would be useful. Other bits you can use as well are auger bits. They're widely available, even made now. So that's another choice. So I'm going to go ahead and drill. I'm going to drill halfway through. And then as soon as this point pokes through on the other side, I'm going to turn this blank around, drill back through, and knock out the hole that way. So I get a clean hole on both sides. And I've tweaked the position of my hole here just a little bit to make sure the score mark hits the top of my tenon. I'm going to start feeling the other side with a bit to poke through. And there we go, poke through. There's the hole right there. Just put that in there. And just do lightly from this side. What's going to happen is we're going to make a little button right there. As soon as the spur scores that, it's going to pop out. We'll just move on to the next hole right here until we've got all three of these holes drilled out, and then we'll be ready to coping saw out the waste between the holes, and then we'll work on the profile. So I've made a series of straight cut marks here for straight cuts where I can make coping sawing out these curves a little bit easier and to square up the blank here in various ways. So I'll just go ahead and make a couple of these cuts. I'm just working down to transition points right here. And so on and so forth, and I'll do that all the way around. When I come back with my big bow saw, I can make the cuts a little bit easier. So we finished drilling out the holes here, and we coping sawed out the waste here and up here to make the hole have a transition here. And then I came through and I rasped the edges here with the number 9 and then the number 13 grain French cut rasps, and so on and so forth. And you see we've got our tenon right here. We've got marked in the part that's going to be cut out of the tenon. And we've got a little extra holding material here for during the shaping process. And I've set up a wooden jawed vise here. It's got some sandpaper glued to the jaws here to help hold things. So this will help us to keep the stock up here in the at a good height for working. First thing I want to do is I want to draw a center line along the inside and outside of the handle so I can keep the handle symmetrical as I shape it. So I'll just go ahead and do that, and I'll be using what I like to call my amazing digital micrometer right here to run that center line. There, and then I'll run the center line in the center as well. Now I don't have to go all the way around on this because this part of the handle is going to be straight across. This part is going to be curved, an arc, and here's going to be curved in an arc for comfort with the handle. Up here it'll be flat here. It'll be curved all the way back here, and it'll taper out from a curve here to flat right there. So, and inside here it's going to be curved, and it's going to taper out to a flat here, and flat all the way around here, and then come back into a curve right there. So it's a complex sort of environment there. Next thing I do after I have this center line all the way down here is I'm going to divide each half of the stock in half with another line. So like so. And I'm just going to do this on the parts where there's actually going to be a curve shaped like that. So I'll do it here and here, and I'll do it on the inside of the handle for the part that's going to be rounded, which is the back half here. And it's difficult to see right there, but I'll do it on both sides. So I've defined where that's going to be, and now I'll do the same thing, the same measurement on the sides right here, as far down and as far up as I can go on both sides, like that, wherever the curve is going to be. And in here, same thing like that. And again, just sort of eyeballing this. Now, that center line that I drew right here, I want that on the side as well. So I'm going to draw that center line here. So I'm winding up with a lot of marks here, but those marks are going to help me to gauge the process of shaping here as we go along. So what's going to happen is, this is the outside of the curve. The curve starts from here, goes all the way across, and ends over here. So that's the full curve. It's a half of an arc, half of a circle. And these two inside lines are the first part we're going to shape. We're going to make those bevels. But for right now, I'm going to carry these lines out. So they're going to taper down to the bottom of the handle like that. And they're going to come around here at the top. The outside curve is going to come around like this, come around and make a nice wide arc, and come in here. And this one's going to transition out of that and come in here like that, and so on and so forth. These here at the top, they're going to transition around like this, and then come around and taper out right there, like so. And I'll do the same thing on the other side as well. So what I'm really doing is I'm taking a square and I'm making it an octagon first, and then I'm taking the octagon and knocking off all the corners and making it a half a circle. And I'm doing that on this part here and then that part there, because those are the parts my hand is going to grasp across. And up here I want this web of my thumb to rest comfortably in there. So I need those to be round. These parts will be basically flat or maybe just very slightly curved, just for relief purposes. And up here the same sort of thing. So that's the sort of layout that we're talking about right here. I'm going to repeat this layout on this side also, so I have lines to work at from both sides, and then we'll go to the shaping part.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying watching our video so far, and I just want to take a few seconds to let you know about our traditional woodworking store, which you can visit while taking a class or by visiting our website at woodandshop.com/store. You'll find our amazing products to help you grow in traditional hand tool woodworking, including in-person and video woodworking classes, woodworking hand tools and workbenches, woodworking plans, traditional wood finishes, shirts and hats, and cool hand tool woodworking gifts for you or your loved ones. Okay, back to the show.
I've taken the handle and I've ferreted out these lines to blend more carefully into wherever the curves are finishing out at. The outside edge of the curve and then the radius edge of the curve here. And I've done that all across here, and I've done it all up in here like that. So we know that when we start ferrying this out, we'll work on the two inside lines first, and then we'll ferre out to the center line and the outside radius like that. I've also done the same thing right here. The top of the horn is going to be curved in an arc as well. Here's the center line. So I've laid out the radius of the circle here and the quarter radius there, here and here. So you can see that defines the first bevel that comes off. When I take that off, I'll basically have an octagon right here, and then I can just ferre that curve out into a half circle, and that will take care of that. So the first thing we'll do is put this in these wooden vices, and they've got some sandpaper here, so that will help to hold the stock here. I'm going to use a couple different rasps. One of them is what's known as the saw handle maker's rasp. It's safe on one side, in other words, it doesn't cut. On the inside curve, it cuts. So it's good for working those inside curves like this, where you can't really get to with a straight rasp without hitting the other side and causing damage. We use these rasps for the outside curves like this out here, be way easier, and this one's pretty aggressive, so we'll be able to knock down the stock pretty quickly. And then we'll fare up with this fine 13 grain modeler's rasp. So let me just start out here, and we'll start working. And you can see that this curve here comes way in here, so it's really not a half circle here, it's more like an ellipse in this part. Here it's a half circle, here it becomes flat. So we just need to think about that. Tighten this up just a little bit. Think about that as we work down here. These layout lines I've made here, they're sort of like an octagon, but not really. They're a very crude octagon. I'll show you the precise way to lay out an octagon when we do the strike button, which needs to be a cylinder. But right here, this will be close enough for our purposes. So I'm just going to rasp down to those first two layout lines all the way down. Up here, the file is going to be a little bit flatter. I'll come in with this little smaller rasp. Down here, the curve is very flat. You can see it's almost flat across here. Up here, it's at 45 degrees like that. So I need to remember that transition as I go along. So I've got that first bevel. I'll do the same thing on the other side, but for right now, I'll just complete this quarter circle. So the next thing you do is to round this over from the center line to in here somewhere, taking off that sharp curve. Same thing over here, rounding from this outside edge, rounding from this new eris right here to this outside edge. So I'll do that right over here. Maybe I can turn that down so you can see that just a little bit better. So I'll take this out. This is a very flat curve right here. And you can see it goes deep right here. And again, I'm just trying to come right down to those lines and then fare this part into the upper half here, and then fare this part to the center line there. And you notice as I use my file, I'm not going straight across, but I'm skewing it. I get a much better cut that way. The idea is to approach this center line and just don't touch it. And after that, everything's by eye. It's just basically making sure you don't have any flats here, any sharp transitions. Everything flows. Right to the outside of the layout lines and right in. We may need to reposition this a little bit to get down into this curve right here, but that's the general idea. So working that side, then this side. And when we do the inside here, we'll be using this rasp. It's exactly the same process. The curve tapers out up to here, tapers out down to here. So here it's flat, here it's a half circle, and here again it's flat. So just those process here and that process around here, and then we'll be ready to cut out this relief on the tenon and cut off this extra holding material here, and we'll be ready to drill the hole for the mortise for this handle to fit into.
If you're interested in learning traditional woodworking, come take a class at our school in Earlysville, Virginia. You can also visit our website at woodandshop.com, where you'll find a bunch of free woodworking lessons, workshop tours, and our very popular tool buying guides. And make sure you subscribe to our free newsletter to get our latest articles and videos. Enjoy!